Good afternoon, good evening, whatever you want to call it, in sunny England where the sun at last has appeared, and now we're all going to complain about how hot it is because that's what we do because we're English. Welcome to Never a Foul, our new show, City in It, where we talk about City in It. It's going to be each and every Monday. All the blues in the comments get involved, and all the non-blues in the comments spam 115 and act like we care. Yeah, just do it in it because it helps the channel. So please spam 115. And meanwhile, we will drink our rivals' tears. Joining me each and every week will be different members. Firstly, next to me, we've got the man with multiple plaques. How many plaques have you got now, bro? By the way,
what plaque? YouTube?
Yeah,
just one, mate. It's just
one. When do you get your next one?
I'm not. I got to get a mill for that, mate.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, we're just trying to be you, bro. We're just trying to be you.
I don't see a mill anytime soon, mate, but we'll keep going.
So, MCFC lads, Luke. Next to him, we've got Simon, all the way in Copenhagen.
Hello, hello.
How are you, Simon? You good?
I'm good. I'm just looking forward to the season, man. You know,
Simon, say hello to the Irish bar, mate, for me.
Oh yeah, sure, I will. Yeah. You went to that? Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, mate. It was good in there. It was well good.
I think it was you that arranged that one, it's Si.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, every time we play Copenhagen, I fix a meeting point for City fans from all over. Always good fun, lots of beers. Never really can remember.
Any rum? But, yeah. Any rum?
Yeah. Ask Steve, bro. He was there last day. Good. Did only Coke, but yeah.
Good. And then we've got Martin from Mancunian Way, fresh off his tour of America, flying the flag for the Manx. Well, I mean, it was your tour. There's a few City players there with you, but it was your tour, Martin.
Yeah, great time. Lovely, refreshed. Yeah, it was amazing. Bit different. A little bit different from the Etihad.
Any Bakary Sagna chance or no? No,
we had a bit of a Mexican wave though. That was always good. And let's go, City, let's go. That was a bit different.
Right, so just quickly, the best video I've ever seen of a game in America, was there's this guy chanting, going, it's a free kick to the other team. This guy in the chants, like doing this chant, and he goes, it ends with, ain't nobody gonna stop us now. And as he says that, the guy's taken the free kick, missed the goal, and hits him straight in the head and knocks him out.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Hey, I'm going to tell you one thing. I said a naughty word and the looks I got. Thought I was going to get escorted out the stadium.
Oh, for real? What was it like? You in the family stand?
No, trust me. It's like the stadium there was like just 80,000 of a family stand. It was like,
no way.
Say that. I'm like, sorry.
And then next to Martin, we have Mr. Blue Tone. My first show with Blue Tone.
Hello, mate.
Creating a storm on Twitter. In fact, who I was on, Martin, I think it was your channel when you did the 24-hour thing, when you did the
stream. Yeah. Tone was on. Yeah, you came on with Tone.
But I think, was it not Tone that was in the comments? And it was either on your channel, it might have been on LB's channel. And he was just dropping loads of bombs on transfer speculation, right? And then, no, I think it was. In fact, it wasn't yours, Martin. I think it might have been on LB's. And LB was saying, can someone verify? Does Blue Tone usually get these right? And then someone's like, yeah, you know what? With a few of the things he says, they seem to happen. So hopefully you got some of them today.
So I'm told. So I'm often, don't go on Blue Moon Forum, for Christ's sake. My name's Mud on there. But yes, hello. Thank you for having me, Daps, and good to be on with you, mate.
No. And then last but by no means least, the man that has to fly the flag for us, the man that has to take all the shameless shit in 8K with anything from 4,000 to probably 10,000 bitter rags, scousers, gooners, spamming 115. The man himself, Hugh Murray. What are you saying, bro? And also, by the way, fresh from Tour of America as well.
Yeah. I was in LA at the time of the Arsenal Man United game, and I went up. We were filming content before the Arsenal Man United game, and there was a lot of City fans. A lot of City fans turned up at the SoFi Stadium. I don't know why. I said your head.
Hold on. So are you saying that when Arsenal play Man United in America, we have to help them fill the stadium?
I'm not saying that. You can make your own. You can make your own conclusions. But no, listen, big up, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate you having me on, because I'm not the most popular man in the Big Six at the minute. Because you know, when City lift any silverware, it's you get your personal attacks and people not too happy with you. And I've been saying things that they're not too happy with. Like I told them that I think Gundogan's up there with the best midfielders in the Premier League ever, and that doesn't go down very well. Like the whole concept of a team that's very successful having players, you know, great conversations doesn't seem to resonate with a lot of people. But you know, that's neither here nor there.
Well, of course not. But no, I mean that's a good place to start the biryani plate. I mean, now people will probably. I think ultimately, if we won it, then it's well, you know what, you might not win the league now. Whereas if we didn't win it, people would have said, you didn't win it. You don't look the same. Which I've been hearing all summer. We don't look the same. Apparently, we've got worse. For me, you know what, it's a trophy. But most importantly, what I loved is the fact that we stopped them lot from, like, they thought they were ready to celebrate a trophy. Of course, once we win it, it's not a trophy, but they were ready to celebrate a trophy. And I think it's fitting that firstly, they go 1-0 up. We equalise. They also take the lead in penalties as well and still fuck up on that as well. So go on, Luke.
I think I actually wanted them to lose more than us to win. I genuinely couldn't stand that. I wanted to beat United more than lifting the plate as well. The plate doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? It's more about being United for me. So yeah,
100%. That's the way I was. I mean, let's just touch on it. So who stood out in the game for you? I think I know what you're going to say, but
yeah, I think we all agree on this. Bob stood out. I've on previous shows with Martin made the comment that I think he will have his breakout season. I think he's amazing. I think we have to redeem ourselves on the whole Palmer situation, and I think Bob has what it takes to become a first-team player on a regular basis for City, and I think he will show it. And I think he did that against United, and I think he will start against Chelsea.
For me, I think he's nailed down the position. I don't know. I said this yesterday on the show with Bob. I just think what we saw from pre-season, not even from that game, but from pre-season, he looks like a player that ultimately has had a season under Pep, where first season we got to see little flashes of what Bob has to offer. But I think at times, because he's quite a humble kid, he probably was like, wow, I'm in this City squad. What am I doing here? Do I deserve to be here? A bit like when Akanji first joined us. If you imagine Akanji came from Dortmund, where he wasn't starting. But then after a season, like you look at Akanji last season, look at Akanji during the Euros, he looked like a man that believed his own source fully. And I think that's the same with Bob now. Bob just looks from pre-season like he knows he not only deserves to be a part of City squad, but I think Bob thinks I should be a starter for this team, you know. And so far, I don't think from you look at pre-season and you look at that game, he's been our standout player. So, Martin, how about you? You on tour? How many games did you go to on tour, by the way?
I only did the one, but I was watching them all. It was a family holiday.
Bit like Noel Gallagher then. You just turn up when it matters. Yeah.
City Barcelona. Got to turn up for the City Barca game, haven't you? No, it was. I agree with signing Oscar. For me, Oscar Bob and Kovacic were the two that stood out on Saturday. Yeah. Kovacic was phenomenal. Thought Oscar Bob was really, really good, and he's for me, he's nailed down that Chelsea start 100%, because he's exciting, and I think you can tell now. You know, looks like we are going to go back to the Sane Sterling little bit, 4-3s, 5-4s. Get your basketballs out and let's all enjoy it this year.
Is that what you're saying? You're saying we are going to go back to that then? Does anyone else agree with him? Do we think we're going to be going back to that and see a bit of a different style this season?
I think it's like a hybrid. I don't think it's quite going to be 6-all every game, but I think it gives us a bit of a new bit of dynamism, I think.
Yeah. It's a different option, isn't it? It's a different option because there was a couple of seasons there or seasons gone by where we were probably limited in the sense that we only had wingers who were interested in keeping the ball and, you know, the pause of stuff. And now it's like, well, we have both, you know. You have Grealish who can do that on the left wing. You have Bernardo who can do that on the right wing. And now you have electric wingers to add something different. Like if you're a fullback and you've been, say, I don't know, chasing Grealish or Bernardo around all game, and you know they're winning fouls off you, and you're just watching the ball go by you, and you see a Doku, a Savio, or an Oscar Bob come off the bench who's going to run at you and try and take the piss out of you with 20 minutes to go and you're tired. That's disheartening. You know, that's not what you want to see as a fullback. So it's another, what's the word? Chink to our armor, or chain to our armor, or something like that. It's another tool in our box. You know what I mean? It's going to make us more diverse and able to adapt to different situations, because I find it frustrating at times. I don't know about you guys, when we did only have those types of wingers, even though it was fairly effective at large times, when you're like, right, you know, we're struggling to break down a low block, but I'd love to bring on like a Sane or a Sterling now, who's just going to go, boom, I'm going to run the fullback and say, I don't care about the low block. I'm going to try and beat them and go to the byline. So now we have it. But those three players, Doku, Savio, and Bob, they're all young. They've all got a lot of learning to do, but they're in the right place. Do you know what I'm saying? They're in the right place, and all of them have shown capabilities, whether it's at City or at Girona, of making that step up. So I'm excited. I'm absolutely excited to see all of them.
I think that's something for the... Go on.
Sorry, no, I was just saying of Bob that we have Doku and Savio, who are very direct players, and we have Grealish and Bernardo, who can hold up the ball. I think Bob is the perfect combination of those two. Like, he has mastered, maybe not mastered, but he can do both to a really high level. And I think that's probably what will set him apart throughout the season. So, I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a bit mixed.
Can I ask a question on that? Do we what the four we just mentioned then, do we not think, are we saying Gabardio's going to be a straight just left back then, or even centre back, and stop this inverted, you know?
I think we go back to inverting Stones to the midfield, and then you play a back three of Akanji, Diaz, and Guardio. I think that will have that, like, depending on Stones keeping fit, of course, but I think we play our best football when Stones is inverting into midfield. Yeah, we're very secure in the middle when he does that, and having Akanji and Guardiola as the right and left side of Diaz, which both have pace, I just think that's a perfect combination. And then you can allow more direct wingers as Savio and Doku on the pitch at the same time, or
and then you've got
Kevin or Foden at the same time, and you have Ake. I mean, I think that will be his go-to,
I agree.
But depending on fitness.
I think you're right. I think we've got to think on the right-hand side. By the looks of it, we're not going to the transfer window on the right-hand side. So Kyle Walker, you know, how much game time is Walker going to get? If there is an injury, what's going to happen? So I think having players on both sides that can invert and whatever is going to be very important this season. That just brings me on to a player that we saw glimpses, and I just keep getting glimpses of this one player in a certain role. I just want to speak on it quickly because he started at right back, Rico Lewis. Every time Rico Lewis comes forward on the ball, he gets better and better and better. And there's moments in the game where he was playing in a more advanced role, and I don't know how, but we need to see Rico Lewis play more in midfield. I think it's going to be hard to. I don't know if we're going to see it too much, and I don't know if maybe a loan next season might be an option for him, to someone like Girona, just to get him. Luke,
he started every Champions League group game, I'm pretty sure, last year, and some of them were in midfield as well. True. But I'm a big advocate of Rico Lewis, and I don't want Rico Lewis. I'm sick of seeing him at right back, if I'm honest, bro. Because he's too good to be loaned out. I think he will play a lot more as well. And
you think?
I know he's a bit. Pep always says how small and stuff he is, but I think if he was in midfield, I don't know if he can't really play where Rodri plays, but he can play in the middle. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what we can
actually. Do you know what? I'm going to revert slightly. I hear what you're saying, because the first season, his breakthrough season, when he was playing at right back for a bit, predominantly. Before he was, I think it was before he was. It was before January, so it's the start of season before last. Certain home games against certain teams, he was playing at right back, but he basically was inverting and sitting next to Rodri for the whole game. So I guess we will see him in more games like that, and then that's where he is an option as a right back. It just worries me. There are games where he's not good enough as a right back, right? And that's not anything on him. He is not a right back, and he's also young, and that's the only thing that worries me with him.
Can I just say, go on, Tom.
I was just going to say, I'm I like Rico a lot as well, but I do have question marks as to when he's playing. So I understand what you're saying about loan, because especially if City bring in a Wharton or someone similar like that, which will then cover the midfield even further, and it's already a pretty strong midfield.
Yeah,
I don't see where Rico Champions League group games. I see what Luke's saying. He's played a lot of big games, but Champions League group games you can sort of play I say lesser players. That sounds really harsh, but you know what I'm saying. You know, you can maybe lose the first one and still qualify. You can lose the first 3 and still qualify. But and I don't mean it to come across that I don't rate Rico. I'm just not quite sure where he fits and where his time will come because of the options we've got elsewhere.
Tone, do you know what the way I put it is, and this is where, and to be fair, he's already breaking through and he is getting game time. We have to remember, we have to be patient with him. He's 19 years old now, right? Exactly. Now, people forget that because of how long he's been about since he was 17 years old, right? But if we look at Foden as an example, it's taken Foden all till now to start to nail down his true position in this City side.
Yeah.
So then we have to look at another one that stood out, I think, McAtee, right? And I'm a big fan of McAtee as well. And I kind of last summer, where I don't think he had a good pre-season, I thought, you know what, he ain't going to get the chance. And at the time, a loan to Sheffield United, I was thinking, I don't know if that's the right choice or not. In hindsight now, right, by him going to a team like Sheffield United, it's meant that McAtee has got a full season playing a lot of games in the Premier League, right? He's bulked up significantly and he knows the physical side. Because I think if you go back and look at McAtee, there has never been a question of his technical ability, right? But now he's got technical ability and plenty of game time in a physical Premier League team, playing a bit more of a physical side of football. And now all of a sudden he's come back. And Pep said there's a position for him. And again, in the Community Shield, Huey, what were you thinking of McAtee in the Community Shield and the pre-season?
I like McAtee. You know, I think he looks comfortable enough. I still think he's got a lot to learn. You know, that midfield City role, it's a really, really complex role, and I don't think one season, or what was it, 1 or 2 he did at Sheffield United? Was it 1 in the end?
What was it, 1.5? He was there on loan the season before.
He went 2 seasons to Sheffield
United. 2 and 4, yeah.
I don't think 2 seasons at Sheffield United is going to equip you for, with all due respect, playing in midfield for Manchester City. But I think with him, it's one of those ones that you just have to wait and see, because Pep's obviously got a plan for him, and Pep's got a plan for Bob. Pep's got a plan for Rico, and if he didn't, then you would see the likes of Rico go out on loan. You probably would, but that's also the kind of first sign that maybe he doesn't see a long-term plan for you. So McAtee's in a unique position, isn't he? Because usually the players that do go out on loan, your Howard Bellis's, your Tommy Doyle's, these kind of guys, you're gone. But McAtee's come back from loan, and Pep said no. You know, he's sticking around. So I don't know how much football I anticipate McAtee seeing this season. It could be another learning one for him. And for me, look, if you're training with Manchester City, it's equally as valuable, if not more valuable than
I think with McAtee, there's something that, right, because I thought the same as you, and I kind of was going, do you know what, his time at City is probably going to be done. He'll probably be sold. But if you think, right, when McAtee signed his contract, there was talks before he signed it that he might have gone to, I think United were even sniffing around him, right?
Wolves as well were looking at him.
Yeah, a load were looking at him.
30 million. I think it was 30 million that was said.
And I remember when he signed his contract at City, still in our academy, right? Pep was pictured with McAtee and his dad, right? Now, it's rare that you see young players with Pep on those signing pictures. It's usually a Tiki or something, right? And I remember reading that Pep had to have a chat with McAtee's parents and explain what his plan was with McAtee. Now, that tells you that Pep rates him, right? And now that Pep's come out and said there's a unique position that I had to tell Tiki I need McAtee back for, operating in small spaces, right? And, McAtee's idol is David Silva. And that pass to, the way he operates in the box is, it sounds mad saying this because David Silva, for me, is the greatest player to ever play for City in my era. But you see it. You do see it, don't you? You see flashes.
He's lucky not to score as well, the way he bent that ball.
Bent it properly, But the way he bent that is the way I want Grealish to bend it a bit more. Pause.
Yeah, McAtee definitely reminds me of David Silva. Obviously not that level, but it maybe one day. But he's definitely got that. And I remember a game, I think we're playing, might have been United or Spurs or someone, and he'd come on. And even Gary Neville commented and said, "My God, they've got another one. David Silva's just gone, and this kid's here. He's just the same." And he is, the way he carries the ball. He could be an amazing player.
Yeah.
Again, similar to Rico, but I think Rico will play more. I just worry about his game time.
Yeah.
McAtee doesn't seem concerned by that. He said he's not bothered, or he didn't say that. But I want to see him play. But I do think he could come in use in tight games where teams are all sat back, and Pep keeps saying he's good in little pockets. He finds little pockets of spaces, and that's where he could come in use. 10-15 to go. You're playing someone like Brentford who are sat there 0-0, and he'll come on and find little spaces. So, yeah, I think good he's staying. Sorry.
I think a few of them as well have got a good opportunity. I mean, look, Chelsea away, going to be honest, we're going to probably want De Bruyne to start, and we're going to want some of the more senior players, yeah. But Ipswich at home, our second game, first home game, for me, they're the type of games where Rico Lewis can start at right back for me against a team like Ipswich. No discredit, but, you know, City at home, we can expect to have a lot of possession. We can expect that Rico can invert and spend most of his time in midfield. Same with McAtee. They're the type of games. And that's the thing with Pep. You do get the chance between August and January to prove yourself. Look, we know February time, Pep will lock down his favoured players. Just before we move on, because from the Community Shield, is there anyone else that stood out for you in that game? Huey, anyone that stood out to you?
I think Kovacic just had a really good preseason all in all. You know, I wasn't sure if Kovacic was even going to be with us. Now, remember he was linked with, was it Galatasaray a couple of weeks ago or one of those clubs? And I was like, look, if he goes, he goes. It is what it is. But I don't know, is it because he's grown his hair? He looks younger and he looks fitter and fresher. I'm not too sure, but he's really good. He's a really good asset in the squad. And I think with all this talk about Rodri backups and could it happen, could it not happen? If it doesn't, I think Kovacic will be the Rodri backup. Now, obviously, no one you get in is going to be Rodri's level. That's just matter of fact. But Kovacic he's kind of worked his way in my head to being a pretty good option, a pretty solid one. Because even when the back end of last season, when we had to rely on him quite a bit, he always stepped up. He always played well. He's not one of these marauding running forward midfielders who's going to get you loads of goals and assists. But what he does really, really well. And I think he's shown that again this preseason, this preseason he's more than capable of having it this season. But I think all in all, preseason's been pretty good. But the reality is, you know, the Community Shield game, there's a lot of players coming back playing their first kind of proper minutes from after international. A lot of the young lads, Nico O'Reilly. I mean, I felt people were putting a lot of pressure on Nico O'Reilly probably a bit too soon last week. You know what I'm saying? The kid's, 18? He's a big lad, but he's grown into his body. Clearly got a lot of technical ability. And people last week saying to me, Hugh, this is the guy who needs to be Rodri's backup. Like, bro, slow the hell down. Slow the hell down, man.
For me, he had a great preseason, right? Playing in a role that was maybe a bit more suited to the role he plays. But then against Man United in the Community Shield, to be fair to him, he's playing in a position that's a bit new to him as well. So he's 18 playing in a role that's new to him. I mean, it shows Pep's confidence in him. But
do you know what? It's great experience for him. It's great experience for any young player, but you have to separate preseason from normal season. They're totally different worlds. They're not, they barely collide, you know? It's a good opportunity for someone like Oscar Bob, who's probably slightly further along in the could he get minutes to show, right, I'm ready to get minutes. You know what I'm saying? But Nico O'Reilly's, even, I don't know who else there is, but these kind of kids, like remember Phil Foden came on that time against Man United in a preseason game and he marked Paul Pogba or something stupid like that. And we all went, wow, this kid's got something about him. We didn't see much of Foden then that season anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because he had a very exciting preseason. These are all parts of the development plan. And Nico O'Reilly, he's just getting his foot in the door. He's a long time before he's ready.
Just got to share this one. Martin and me, we're definitely well happy with this comment, aren't we, Martin?
So am I, mate.
You know, I'm well chuffed. You know what I mean? Cheers, lad. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I say one thing, by the way? You know, on the Rico stuff, I think Rico, like, a lot of you have said it already, he's young enough to still wait another year potentially. Because the thing is, for me, I think this upcoming season will probably be Walker's last one.
Yeah.
You've got a Kanji, you can go to right back, so we've still got plenty of time. I could see Rico potentially being our long-term right back.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah, potentially. I think it's just he's still young enough. We've got, like someone said, we've got to remember Phil Foden scored the winner against Tottenham in that 1-0 win, and then you didn't see him again for 4 months. And this is what Pep does.
Yeah,
and it's the same with McAtee, and this is what I was saying the other day on LB show of is exactly what I feared was going to happen a little bit. It happened on Saturday, where everyone was very excited on Nico Riley through pre-season. He had a bit of a so-so game on Saturday, and some fans were like, nope, forget it, too young. And it's like, give the guy he's a kid. And that's why I just want to, I think we've got to do it the right way. And Pep Guardiola does things the right way. He's not an idiot.
Yeah.
He's not going to
throw these. You know what, Martin? It's like everyone's chasing. Everyone's chasing that Lamine Yamal-esque vibe. Wow, we had some 16-year-old kid who's all of a sudden, like Lamine Yamal, he's 1 in 10 billion. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen regularly. Everyone thinks, that's what you do when you find a good young player. You have to protect, you have to manage, and you have to control. You know what I'm saying? Like, even look at Oscar Bob, who's now he's starting to come into the limelight. When Oscar Bob kind of first started training with our team, he would have had Mahrez there, he would have had Bernardo there, he would have had even Foden playing on the wing. So he was learning all the time, knowing fine well, I'm not playing ahead of any of these guys right now. But if I just show the patience required, show the trust in Pep's plan for me, this time will come. And even if he doesn't play crazy minutes this season, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, where's Oscar Bob? Because he's still so young, man. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not ready to put mega pressure on these guys, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I got people in my chat the other day coming to me going, well, look at what United did with Kobe Mainoo. I don't give a fuck what they do with Kobe Mainoo. I don't want to do what United do with any of their players. If we're resorting to having to rely on 18-year-olds, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? The club haven't recruited correctly.
Big facts. Do you know what? I actually, just on the Kovacic one as well. Do you know what? I think Kovacic last season, look, we all watch City every single game, right? But most of our rivals don't watch City. Why would they want to watch us every single game? I get it. Yeah, when we're winning, they don't want to watch that. But they watch, obviously. So Kovacic came into City last season and hit the ground running from the start. First game, like he was looking good, sitting next to Rodri. He had one bad game against Arsenal without Rodri, yeah. And then that's it. Everyone judged his whole season. I don't think Kovacic has been that good this season, but he's spot on. Most importantly, the back end of the season, which is, we all know, I always say the back end of the season is worth double points, right? If you're going to judge a player, judge him then, right, when it matters. And that's why Mo Salah, I've always said it, Mo Salah gets all of his numbers at the start of the season. Back end of the season, when it comes to putting up the numbers and winning trophies, Mo Salah goes quiet, right? De Bruyne always comes alive back end of the season. Kovacic, back end of the season, came in, and when Rodri was absolutely knackered, Kovacic was Rodri's legs, literally his legs, right? And we've seen it again in pre-season. Some of the runs that he makes, his ball carrying ability is unbelievable. And it's those moments, if he is going to do the Rodri role, look, Rodri can pass the ball out from the back. What Kovacic can do is pick up the ball and move the ball 100 yards up the pitch and take all the pressure off that back four. So I hear it. I expect a big season for him. The other one, I guess, we're probably worth talking on before we move on to what if we expect transfers are going to come in is what do we see for Nunes this season? Luke, I'll come to you because I know you've got to leave us soon.
Got to jump off in a couple.
Yeah.
But for Nunes, this is one people have asked me a lot, and I keep hearing different opinions on it. But I think a lot of people have shut him down a bit early. He's had one season. He's not dead old. He's come from Wolves. It's obviously difficult to try and get into this City team anyway. And last year, he didn't play as much as people thought. He probably didn't play as well as people thought. A lot of people were just criticising him. But to sum him up in one moment, that penalty was a joke. That was the best penalty in the whole shootout. It sounds stupid to start talking about one penalty, but I think Pep said after the game about his performance, he said he showed some glimpses of what he can do for City. And I agree. I think he can be a very good player. I remember watching the likes of like Bernardo, Sané first come into this team, and they looked good, and they probably played a lot more than Nunes did last season, but some of them didn't settle in straight away. I think it's quite rare in a team like this to see like a Diaz or a Haaland hit the ground running in the first season and kick on. But I think Nunes will be a good player. I still give him time. I don't agree with any of these Saudi links or transfers away. I think he'll stay. And there's a reason we bought him. There's a reason we paid fair bit of money for him. I think he'll do all right. And I think you just got to give him a bit of time.
Yeah. Right. There's one more before you go that I really want to speak on really quickly.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I was with you, Luke. We spoke on this guy before. I was with you. I wanted him out of the club. I think he probably is still going to go. However, right, hear my pitch. If he is willing to firstly sort out his disagreements with Pep, if he is willing to accept...
Oh, no.
No way.
Hold on, let me land. If he is willing to accept that you're not a guaranteed starter at right back, you're not even a guaranteed starter at left back. If I ask you to play left wing, right wing, or even fill in for Edison between the pins, right? You do what I say. Can any of you see a reason why Cancelo maybe could bring something to the City team? Because I do.
He's gone, mate. He's gone. He's burnt too many bridges. He's burnt too many bridges, mate.
He's not even got a squad number yet.
Has he unblocked you yet? Has he unblocked you?
Yeah, he unblocked me, mate. But
there we go. He's starting to roll. He put out the other
you haven't reached for it. He's done, mate. He's done. Unfortunately, mate, he's done. He's burned all the bridges.
He's not even got a squad number.
No, I hear it. And to be honest with you,
I could maybe hear you out in a year if quite a bit of the squad had left and Pep had gone and there was a new manager or whatever. He's gone, mate. He's no way.
Look, ultimately, I think he has gone because, ultimately, if there was any chance, I think he probably would have been on the bench yesterday, right? Or Saturday. Yeah. But the only reason I'm saying it is because obviously we're not looking to hit the transfer window for a right back. He is naturally a right back, but can also cover the left. Walker, we know, is coming of age. Now, the other reason is, I spoke on it earlier, I expect Kevin De Bruyne this season, his game time to be really, really, really managed. And I would like to see his game time really, really managed. Like, start him against Chelsea away. We know he's great in those type of games, but certain games. Now, what Cancelo does bring is something that De Bruyne brings and we're going to miss, I feel, which is those elite assists, those one-off passes. And that's something Cancelo has got in abundance. And that's the only thing where I'm thinking, but ultimately, are we all saying, nah, mate, not willing, Huey, not willing to forgive him?
I was willing to forgive him last summer. I've forgiven him. I don't hold the grudge. But the thing is, I'm not Pep. I don't make that call. And Pep, it's quite common knowledge that if you burn a bridge with Pep, the bridge doesn't get rebuilt, and that's just the way it is. I agree. I think, look, there was a time where Cancelo, for me, was one of the most gifted players in the squad. He is one of the most gifted players in the squad. Technically, ball at feet type thing. He's absolutely outrageous what he can do, but it doesn't matter. To play for Manchester City, to play for Pep Guardiola, it's not just about being a top footballer. They're also looking for a certain type of personality, and he just doesn't fit that criteria. But I don't know. Has Pep ever had someone come to him and be like, I'm sorry, I apologize, I was out of line? I don't know.
I think
Zlatan the other day on the pitch.
I can give you one example that his hand was forced on a bit, and that's probably Torre. I don't think he was Torre's best mate at Barca, but as I said, that's I've got to jump off.
But, I appreciate you coming, and
nice to chat to everyone.
And listen, everyone,
take care,
FTFC lads, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You all know who he is anyway, but if you haven't, please go and give him a sub. Even rivals.
Appreciate it. See you in a bit. Bye.
Lovely. Pat, if you're watching in the background, if you do want to fill that space with however you fill it, because I don't know how to. Sorry, one thing, Huey, before we carry on. People, there is nearly 400 people of you in here. I don't know what the likes on, but let's just say they won't be high enough. If you haven't hit the like button, please give the like button a hit right now. It helps the channel out a lot. It pushes out to all the other Blues and all the other rivals who want to spam 115. Go on, Huey. Go away with it. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, with like people talking about we're potentially going to go back to those wingers, like the Sané Sterling type vibe. Having someone like Cancelo to unleash those guys with passes would be a spectacle.
That's what I'm thinking, bro. Yeah,
I just don't see it. I mean, Kabore got on the bench. Before Cancelo did. I just don't. I think Cancelo, from what I've heard, he's just sat waiting for this Barcelona stuff to be sorted out, and away he goes back. And I think it'll be a loan. Oh, it is trouble. I honestly think they're just sorting out whether it's gonna. I think it'll be a loan with a obligation about at the end. And I'll be honest with you, I think you're even going to be surprised by the fee. I think City are like 10, 15 million quid. See you just. Bye.
Do you know what? It's one of those where I don't want to say that we right, Cancelo. What are we saying? At least 2 seasons, Cancelo very much contributed to us winning trophies. Yeah, at least 2 seasons, right? He put up numbers. He was a great player, but he is one that you'd probably look at and go a bit of bad business in hindsight. We paid a lot for him. You know, I think if you're taking it was what was it, Danilo and something like
35.
50 million.
Well, it was 2 separate deals, wasn't it? But it just
Yeah,
went
but it
on
was-
the books as
but-
Danilo, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Sorry, Jack.
I think it was like net
go on.
20 million.
I was just going to say, I don't think it was a bad signing. I just think the
No, but
contract
it was-
renewal was bad.
Yes,
because they
that's
renewed
what I
it
was gonna
2
move on
months
to.
later. It kicked off. Yeah.
It's me like
that's
Alvarez's
literally
contract
it, wasn't it?
renewal.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
the contract renewal was the one that I was about to move on to. That it's
Oh,
not only
sorry.
that it was a high fee,
Yeah.
for a fullback, but then it was. Sorry, I knew I was pineapples. I knew I was going to sneeze. But it was also the contract renewal as well. Right, so let's move on to it. Tone, talk to us. Like, I know there's a lot of people in the comments. Unfortunately, Nipun Patel, I've had to time you out because you're an absolute weapon. But if he was here, he would be
Dickhead.
screaming. He would be screaming.
Who's Martin's mate, man? Martin, stand up for your mate.
Is he your mate? Listen.
Best mate used to.
Look, we love all Blues. No, we don't, because we
He
don't
doesn't
love
love
Blues.
me. He
Literally.
doesn't
But
love
He's
me.
He does not love Martin.
He doesn't love City. I'm sorry, but literally, he once told me a week after we won the treble that our board is incompetent. Right?
Yeah.
I'm
He
sorry.
called me a middle-aged drunk the other day.
Oh, he's called me a main road loser. He's just.
Have you
he's
not been
everything.
called a main road? See you next Tuesday off him yet?
Oh yeah,
Who,
yeah.
me?
That's why me. Well, that's why me and Steve have got the main road losers flag. It's off. It's like, you know. It's like he called us. Me and Steve apparently were the reason that Manchester City will never win a Champions League because of our mentality, right? So, but anyway,
You were talking about Roy Hodgson in the Burnabout.
exactly, mate. Put some fucking respect on my name, right? But look. I do understand some of the frustrations. I do not want to ever go and hit the transfer window just so that, like Huey said, we can talk about the next winger that we've bought that's going to break the bank and all of that crap. I only want to buy players that I think we need. However, I do think at the moment maybe we do need players. Maybe Pep doesn't. But Tone, what you hearing? You've got your ear close to the ground. What you hearing with that Alvarez money? Because now I think the Alvarez deal is officially done now, right? Because there was a bit of
It's done.
so that's done. We got some money in the bank.
Yeah, we've got plenty of money. I think we've broken some record or something for a club for incoming for a certain amount of time or something. I saw earlier, which is, excuse me, unbelievable. It's been quite quiet, but everybody says to me, "Oh, it's bloody quiet." What the bloody hell's going on? I think most of us predicted it'd be quiet. What we don't need to sign players.
There we go. Sorry.
He's back.
People don't. God, there we go. People need 115 players, but we don't.
Chelsea.
Yeah, we don't need to have. Look, the squad is loaded. I know not everyone wants to hear this because everyone wants 3-4 players signing 700 million quid and all the rest of it. But fact is, before Alvarez went, you tell me, where are the holes in the squad? Really? Okay, people say Rodri, but Stones can come in, Rico can come in, Kovacic can come in. It's not like we've got no one there. So, and Bernardo can, okay, maybe to a lesser degree, but he can sit in there. I do think we now need someone now that Alvarez has gone. So I'm not overly surprised it's been quiet at all. But I do think they will most definitely sign a player. There's no doubt. And this is just my opinion before anyone puts any money on it. But I still got a funny feeling, Bruno G.
Thank you, please.
Yeah, Bruno G. Wharton's name seems to have come up in the last hour or two again. I know other people Martin's mentioned him before and told me and so on. So City like him. City definitely like Eze. There is no doubt
I just
they
don't
like him.
see the Eze one. Right. If we get Eze, yeah, then I'm not going to go, nah, didn't want him, don't rate him. But at the same time with Eze, I'm just looking at it going, good player. In my opinion, he hasn't been consistent enough to earn the the reputation he's got. I know it's down to injuries slightly, but I don't think he's consistent enough to me go and break the fucking bank. And also, I don't know where's he playing? Where are we going to play him? And I'll say the same with Wharton a bit. Like Wharton, think he's good, think people are maybe getting a little bit too carried away with him. Now, if we bring in Wharton, what does that do for players like Rico Lewis? Who actually, Rico Lewis, you know, is of a similar age. And for me, with maybe less game time, is also showing similar abilities. Bruno Gomes, on the other hand, that's the one I've said it. I want him so badly because for me, he comes in and look, as a club like Manchester City, we should never be signing players that have a mentality of I'm coming to cover someone. I'm coming to be backup, right? And that's why I was never on board with that whole Calvin Phillips bandwagon when we signed him in the first place, right? He never thought he was going to start over Rodri, so we knew what it was. Now, someone like Bruno Gomes, he comes in, and I think personally, any player that Manchester City should be signing should be a player that thinks they're going to nail down a position. Maybe with Bruno Gomes, you might think he's going to nail down the 8th position, right? And play regularly in the 8th position, but be open to, and no problem. If Rodri needs a rest, then I will drop back and play the 6th role. And that's why I want Bruno, because I think he is that player. He can come in, hit the ground running straight away. But
can I mean,
it's going to cost us a bit, innit? Yeah, go on.
I know what you're saying, listen, and there's been probably no one more on the Bruno bandwagon than me. I mean, my God, I've had the 98% taken out the piss out of me. But no, the simple fact of, you know, listen, would I love a Bruno G? Of course. City ain't going to pay the money Newcastle want.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening. But the thing with Adam Watt is it kills about 3 birds with 1 stone here. Because in about 18 months, people hate this little fact, but there is a homegrown quota in this Premier League.
Yeah, true.
In about 18 months, we will lose 3 or 4 English players out of our squad. Not only that, Bruno Gomes and Rodri are of a similar age, so they're both going to time out at the exact same opportunity. Adam Wharton won't come in and go, I'm expecting Real Madrid this season. Adam Wharton, I think, will be happy to learn off of Rodri, the same way Rodri learned off Fernandinho for 2 or 3 years. And Adam Wharton then becomes the long-term replacement of Rodri.
Yeah,
and at £50 million, I'm all over it. I really am.
But would Wharton want to do that? Because he's just had the best 6 months of his career where he's got one of the best clubs saying, you are really shit hot. Would Wharton then go, I'll go and learn from Rodri? It's like the people who say, get Wirtz now and he'll learn from De Bruyne. I mean, what a crock of shit. You can't have Wirtz, who's one of the best players in Europe, say, I'll sit on the bench for 2/3
But Bruno Gomes won't do that, so...
Sorry?
No, but Bruno Gomes but Bruno can play the 8 role. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying, that Bruno can come in and play the 8 role.
But what we do with Nunes and Kovacic then?
But
by the way, you've just killed McAtee as well. McAtee's now...
No, I hear it, but we're not talking about what it's done to them. I'm saying with Bruno, he would start. With Bruno, he would start in the 8 role, right? With Wharton, at his age, and I'll be honest, Wharton's not going to come in because then it will put noses out of place. If Wharton comes in at his age and starts over certain players, noses put out of place. If a seasoned Bruno Gomes comes in, it's not going to put noses out of place. But I'm with you, Martin. Personally, the release clause was 100 million. We didn't meet it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if we're going to go and hit what we have to pay, 110, especially even more so. We haven't got that long left in the transfer window. So I do hear it.
Bruno was my dream signing this summer. That's the one I said, look, if we have to make one, I think that's the one to make. But looking at the way the last few weeks have unfolded, they've just done what Pep did with Kyle Walker last summer. Gave him the captain's armband, said, you're the man now. You're going to be the face of Newcastle, you know, and he put up that tweet.
Have they just done that?
Yeah, he's captain. He's captain of the club. So if he was to turn around and go, right, I'm off the City now, he can never walk to Newcastle.
Hold on, Delph was made captain of Villa, wasn't
he? Yeah, I don't. And loads of people sent me that because I've been on Bruno G all summer, and loads of people sent me this tweet Bruno G sent saying, I can't wait to be captain. I'm doing this, that, and the other. We've seen, look, I'm not saying he'll move, but we've seen this before when players go.
Pedro Neto did it about 2 weeks ago, and look where he is now.
Neto did it 5 days beforehand and then went to Chelsea. I'm never leaving Wolves.
Yeah.
Bruno G.
It's
probably
all
doesn't even know
PR.
it's been- yeah, I was going to say Bruno G's probably had someone send that out, and someone will say it to me, be like, "I said what?" You know, I'm not saying he won't stay, and I don't blame him if he does stay because he's their best player and captain and so
Someone
on.
made a great point in the
But I
comments.
won't
What are you
read
doing with
into
that Taveri, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Alongside
true.
McAtee.
Look, my view on it, always on transfers now, and it has been like this for probably a good 5 seasons, is, do you know what? Trust the board. And I know there's some City fans that absolutely hate hearing that. Nitin Patel, I know you hate trust the board, right? But for me, Nitin Patel, you told me we should have got Harry Kane and we would have won a treble sooner, right? I mean, ultimately, in hindsight, do you really think we would have won a treble with Harry Kane? So,
Well, leave him be. He's just won his first trophy over the weekend.
oh, what's he won? The equivalent of their Community Shield,
The Malta Cup. I think
right? Is
it
that
was.
like? So he's got an Audi Cup and a Malta Cup,
Yeah.
right? Brilliant.
He's
But no,
pulling all the
for
steps
me,
out.
trust the board, and you know what? Pep must have a plan. Otherwise, because
Yeah,
if Pep hasn't got a plan and really wants a player, I think he, well, look, he set the precedence with Joe Hart when he joined the club, right? If Pep really, really wants someone replacing, he gets what he wants, right? And it's not that we haven't got the money.
Yeah.
We just have to trust the board. I do think we'll get someone in. We will see who it is. Luke, welcome. Thanks for joining last minute. Appreciate it a lot. Hope you've had a good day. If it isn't a 6, 8, what are you looking at? Who would you? I mean, Alvarez replacement, like for like, go and get a number 9.
I think there's been a few things that I've seen. Tolmy's tweeted out earlier that a few agents have now started to contact Manchester City over a striker coming in. But I don't think we'll see a like for like replacement. I think what you'll kind of see is, for me, I think you'll see Bernardo start to move more into the middle,
right?
Potentially. That's if we don't get a replacement or an assistance role for Rodri, like we're discussing, can play the 6 or the 8, such as Bruno. But again, it's just kind of having that faith in the board. If there is someone out there that they do feel is at the requirements, then they'll go and get them. But if there's not, then you have to put faith in the squad that we have. And there's lots of players in there who can do the job that we're requiring. For me, anyway.
Is anyone seeing Nunes? Huey, do you think could Nunes do that role? Because I haven't seen anything of Nunes to suggest that he could do the 6 role. But I've had people say to me before, "What about Nunes there?"
I think he played. Did he not play 6 at times? The odd time for Wolves, he'd fill in there.
I didn't watch Wolves that much. That's
He
I'll
did.
be
He
honest.
did.
I think he had a good game against Liverpool in the FA Cup many, many years ago, playing at the 6.
He might have done it for Sporting
At
Lisbon
Anfield,
as well,
I think
at
it was.
one point. I'm not. Yeah, I think he could. I don't see why not. He's very much an unknown quantity, isn't he? As Luke said, like, he's not the first player to come to Manchester City and not bang the first time round. But what gives me a lot of hope for Nunes is he's not a specialist, and I don't mean that offensively. I mean, he falls under the umbrella of just general midfielders, and that's what Pep Guardiola absolutely loves. He loves having a player who he feels he can mold to play here and there, be parts of his jigsaw here and there. I mean, when we were trying to get Lucas Paqueta, the word was that Pep and the coaching staff felt with a bit of coaching, Paqueta could have potentially played in a deeper role too. So, Nunes, he's a big physical lad. He's a strong runner with the ball. I think the fact that he's still here right now means Pep has some sort of a plan for him. I think people look in transfers in general. Yeah, I do feel we could do with 1, maybe 2 more. But I think this time of the year, people get cold feet and they start going, "Oh, we need transfers, They're looking for that like dopamine hit, that rush." Because I see other fans of other clubs like saying, "Who have you signed? Who have you signed?" to each other. I don't think the Manchester City squad needs major surgery. It just doesn't. I think it needs 1 or 2 little reinforcements of the right character, the right level, and we'll be just fine. Even if we didn't get any major reinforcements, I don't think we're going to fall off from challenging to the league into top 4 battle. I still think we have a league potentially winning squad right now.
I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree. No, Tony, you carry on.
I was just going to say, Hugh said about rivals and stuff, all the other teams, and he's quite right. Liverpool haven't done anything. Their fans want FSG or whoever, they want them back out FSG again this week. Arsenal bought a few players. Have they drastically improved? I don't think so.
Well, I think the thing with Arsenal, and there you go, Kai Havertz in the chat, who is constantly just saying you need to talk about 115. I understand why you want to talk about 115, bro. As an Arsenal fan, I completely understand, right? But what I would say is I think Arsenal, have they improved? Defensively, they were already good.
Yeah.
And they've improved defensively drastically. Timber's like a new signing, and cauliflower or calamari or whatever his name is. He's like a
Calafiori.
Yeah, so it's a mix of the two, right?
I'm trying to call him octopus ring because everyone's calling him calamari.
He looks good, but ultimately, that's not what Arsenal fans in the end of last season we're talking about needing. Like, and I don't think any of us would think Arsenal. That's what Arsenal need. It's a good way for us to move on to another subject, which is the season coming. I just quickly want to super chat. Thank you to City Bias, appreciate it. He's saying Nitin Patel is not a City fan. Don't give him any attention. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. But and also,
I would agree.
Just one last thing. Massive thank you to everyone that's raided from Rants. We've just had a raid. It's up to 550 in here. Please make sure all of you that have joined us hit that like button straight away. Get those likes over 300. Helps the channel out massively, and of course subscribe. But
before we move on, can I just say something on Nunes? I don't think he's good enough to play in the 6 for us. He's not good enough on the ball to play in a 6. And Hugh said that, we probably have a plan for him, but we do make mistakes. We also had a plan for Phillips. This can just be a mistake, a panic buy after a long summer of not getting our different priorities for midfield. So I don't see where he is going to play. I don't see where he fits in the team. He's a utility man at best, and not even at a great level of that, in my opinion. So I don't think I don't, unless we change radically in how we play, I don't see where he's going to play for City.
I agree with the
I just don't see it.
I didn't say the plan. I didn't say the plan was specifically to play as a number 6. I said there will be a plan. The difference between Nunes and Phillips is we kind of saw enough of a sample size of Phillips at times to go, you're probably not it. I'm not ready to call any player a write-off or there's no room for you in the squad until we've seen it. Until we've seen enough of them and go, right, look, you've had your chance. You're not really showing enough, and we just haven't seen it with Nunes yet.
I understand that, you 100%.
I think we've seen it in glimpses, though.
We don't.
I think he's good in glimpses too. I think he's
had
cameos.
Red Star Belgrade away, Nottingham Forest at home, as two examples where he has.
He actually got 5 or 6 assists last season.
But even though we say we might have a plan, we don't necessarily have a plan for him. Even though it's not as a 6.
Don't agree with the panic buy.
Can I just pitch in with Nunes? One thing that, right? So we're talking Nunes, Calvin Phillips. I have a bit of an issue with players that don't do themselves favors, right? Now, Calvin Phillips, when he arrived at the club, he was injured, not his fault, right? He managed to get himself fit in time for the World Cup. He went off to the World Cup. Fine, understand it. Didn't really play in the World Cup, but he arrived back unfit, right? Now, when you arrive back from a tournament, at that point, we all know the plan for Calvin Phillips was to give Rodri a rest. When we arrived back from the World Cup and he wasn't fit enough, right? It meant Rodri had to start again. And it's like, do you know what, Calvin, that was your opportunity. That was your opportunity, kind of December, January time for Manchester City to prove to Pep and the coaching staff and us as fans what you can do, but he wasn't fit. Now, if we fast forward to Nunes, in my opinion, personally, Nunes, again, he went to the World Cup with Portugal. He didn't feature too much, hardly at all. Now, I know that players have every right to have a holiday, yeah? But if you haven't really featured much last season, then you've gone away with your national team. You haven't really played there. And then your club is going on tour. They're a bit short of players because they had so many players playing in the national. And you want to show to the coach what you can do.
Yeah.
Finish your holiday a week or two early, right? Join up with the team. And if he would have joined up with the team, we would have seen a lot of Nunes over in America, right? We would have, because, you know, Pep would have wanted to try him out. So I just think a little bit, I'm here going, I don't know if I could. And I'm one that's really big on mentality, big on attitude. And personally, I kind of think he's missed a trick here because he could have been a starter. He could have been a starter.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I definitely.
You know, my only thing with Nunes, Nunes played about 1,600 minutes last year, which I know might not be great, but
it's not bad though. It's
not bad.
No, it's not bad.
In the league, we never lost with him playing. Created fact, I'm not saying that he's coming in. If you look at the games he started last season, it was generally Everton, Burnley, Luton.
Yeah.
To me, I've always said we can't keep doing this superstar 11. Sometimes I've always said it, in an army, you need soldiers.
Yeah.
He's a soldier. And people forget this guy went on a 2-week strike at Wolves to get to Manchester City Football Club. He tried. And why I don't agree with a panic sign is Pep Guardiola wanted this guy 3-4 years ago when he was at Sporting Lisbon, if you remember. He was bigging him up. Pep has followed Nunes for a while. I'm not saying he's going to be the overall top player, but I think we've got to come out of this idea of, and I mean, I'm doing a show on tomorrow about it, of player names versus profiles. We're going into this. We're going into these names over. We're not looking at, does the profile fit us? Because not every player at Manchester City would fit in an Arsenal, would fit in a Real Madrid. That's not how football works.
Well, look at Real Madrid, like 20 odd years ago, the Galactico era, kind of the first rendition of it. Figo, Zidane, Beckham, you know, all names on a pitch. They sold Makelele, the team crumbled.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Right. So, with that being said, expectations for the season. Huey, put your cards on the table. What are we expecting? What are you thinking?
Pressure going first here.
Look, the season starts in 4 days, so
I think unless we win another treble, the board's incompetent. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, we must treble, yeah. No Carabao. Look, we've got the Community Shield. Currently, the whitewash is on. Win it all, one season, everything, literally, Carabao included. Just to rub it in Alvarez's face a little bit, because you know he didn't get the Community Shield and he didn't get the Carabao. It would be fitting if we go and get them two as well. But no, I mean, joking aside though, is that what you? That's what you. Of course, we all want. Is that what you expect?
Me?
Yeah.
No, do I expect to do the treble? Sorry, I was just getting a message off someone there. No, I don't think the treble. No, look, I think while Pep's your manager, while I've also said the squad doesn't need major surgery, I still think we have a potentially league-winning squad. I don't see why the ambition can't be 5 in a row. I have a good crack at the Champions League. I never say win the Champions League because that's a huge expectation. There's a lot of luck required. A lot of things have to go your way to win the Champions League, but have a good crack at it. Why not? I mean, I see. I've watched quite a few people's predictions. I don't like doing predictions like who's going to win, who's going to come top 4. Because I think it's a bit washed. You know what I mean? But people are saying, "Oh, this is Arsenal's year. This is Arsenal's year." Blah blah blah. People just assume that off the back of 2 challenging seasons for Arsenal, they'll go again. People aren't looking at the fact of the matter, like to lift yourself up again for a 3rd time against this juggernaut Manchester City. Do they have the mentality to do so? And outside of them, is there anybody you look at and go, shit? As of right now, anyway, it might change in 2 weeks, 2-3 game weeks. But as of right now, do you look at anybody and go, shit? They're going to be a problem. So no, I don't see why not. Premier League. I think Premier League should be.
I think Premier League
a realistic goal.
I think just touching on that. I remember someone said to me just before we went out to Istanbul, someone asked me, what if City don't win this time? Yeah, because people say you have to lose 1 to win 1. No one ever says you have to lose 2 to win 1, right? No one ever says that, because for me, I think if we would have lost that second Champions League final, it then would have become a bit of a in the back of your head, overthinking it. Look, in that final, it even, De Bruyne getting injured, it was flashbacks of Portugal. So that's my thing with Arsenal. Look, I'm going to be completely 100 on where I stand with Arsenal going into the season, and seeing them in a few of their pre-season games now that we do watch-alongs. As far as Arsenal as a team, I rate Arsenal as a team. As far as Arteta as a manager, overall, I rate him as a manager. If I had to put together a shortlist, if Pep went tomorrow, he would be on my shortlist, right? There'd be a few things I'd want to change, but he would be there. I think player-wise, I think I'm not one of these that says they need a striker. We've done it with a false nine. I think Arsenal could win the league with a false nine. I think the biggest advantage by a country mile we have over Arsenal is we know how to get it done. And that's the issue. Arsenal, there is no proof of Arsenal knowing how to get it done. And like I said, people always say you have to lose it once to win it, right? People no longer say you have to lose it twice to win it once. And if we look at the last 7 years, Manchester City have won 6 of the leagues. The only time we didn't win the league is when Liverpool won the league by February, right? Arsenal, if they want to win this league, must win this league, have it as good as wrapped up by February, right? Because otherwise, the mind games, they're royally fucked, right? Rodri helped that as well. Rodri literally dropped the bomb on them on that last day of the season and fucked off on holiday with his missus and no social media for them to get at him, right? They're going to overthink it. If they get into that stage of the season and City are, even if City are 9 points away from them, every single game, they're not going to be thinking about their game. They're going to be thinking about our game. And that's where I think Arsenal have to step up. Does anyone, Martin, Tone, in fact, I'll come to you first. Champions League, because I think we would all agree the league is doable, especially with Pep. If it is Pep's last season, even more so. But what's your thoughts on the Champions League? Is the Champions League doable this season, or is it more difficult?
No, it's doable because we didn't win it last year. I always think retaining it, I think Real Madrid are possibly the only team that have ever done it, would make it more difficult. So I always thought last season we'd probably come unstuck at some point, and we did, although we didn't deserve to lose over the 2, but we still went out. So Hugh said earlier, you need a bit of luck, things to go your way. It's impossible to judge the Champions League because Inter Milan got to a final. Monaco, Porto, all these teams have been to a final. Liverpool beat bloody Tottenham in a final. Tottenham is proof anyone can get to a final. So it's extremely difficult. Are we one of the best teams in Europe? Absolutely. Probably only Real Madrid. It's us and Real Madrid in terms of the squad, in my view, the 2 best squads in Europe. And if they avoid each other, there's every chance they'll meet in the final if things go both the team's way. So we absolutely can. But my thing is always the same every single season. Premier League, every year. And if we win the Premier League, it's been a successful season. If that's the only thing we win, because it's the most important thing. Pep said, everybody else outside Arsenal fans, Liverpool go, oh, Champions League, Pep wants Champions League. He doesn't. Pep has been quoted numerous times and said, Premier League is always the key to win. And that is, to me as a fan, and I know many mates and City fans say the same, Premier League is the one because it's the most difficult, and in my view tells you who is the best team at that time. The Champions League doesn't prove you're the best team in Europe.
No, it doesn't.
Because Tottenham runners up, they were not the second best team in Europe. So
I mean, look, it shows know-how and it shows heritage. They're things that, you understand when you go to the Bernabeu and you experience what it's like to concede a goal in that place, right? You understand, know-how is a thing. And I say it, the know-how that Real Madrid have in the Champions League, we have very much so in the Premier League, right? And there's our track record shows it, right? Repeatedly, that we just know how to get it over the line. And I agree with you. For me, it's a league. Luke, you're the same, aren't you? Yeah,
Premier League over Champions League any day of the week. I think we've said it for years now. Daps, me and you in conversation. The old Champions League format as well. It's 10, 11 games to win. Some of them are over 2 legs. You can ride your luck a bit. But with the Premier League, 38 games, you're not riding your luck. You get exposed pretty quickly if you have, the likes of Liverpool riding on their luck last season. It came quite quick to fruition that obviously, Crystal Palace at home, games like that it petered out pretty quickly. So Champions League, 38 games.
And we know this. We know this from, I know this from my childhood. The truth of the matter is, in my lifetime, while I actually know what the hell's going on, because they might have maybe won a league when I was in nappies or something, but Liverpool have won more Champions Leagues in my lifetime than they have than they have Premier Leagues, right?
Well, look at 2005, their squad.
Exactly. That's what
are
I'm
you
saying.
that is the best team in Europe when
there's no how
that is a miracle? It's never going to happen again against possibly one of the best teams Europe has ever seen.
Oh, Luke, if Schmitzer can win a Champions League, then even
there you go. Haman, Dimitar Haman, for example.
Yeah.
You know, Milan Barros. Who's ever heard of him again?
You can't tell me the team that beat us in Porto, that Chelsea team, was the best team in Europe.
But in hindsight,
there you go.
In hindsight, when you look at that game, it is like, look, in my lifetime, I think in all of our lifetimes, we can give Chelsea mad credit for some of the players they've had, squads they've had, managers they've had, right? That, and also, we can talk about our club and say the squad we had that night in Porto as well. You know, we were playing some of our best football around that period, right? But in fact, yes, we were. Do you know what? The minute COVID hit, we were playing absolutely beautiful football with no fans in the stadium, because ultimately it was down to who had the best players, right? And we were looking absolute. And in hindsight, when you look back at that, you think, fucking hell, what happened there? But yeah, you're spot on with that. So, but I do think Pep will want the champion. You know, we don't know if Pep stays, if he goes. But look, last thing, because I know it's with our 5 minutes in. People, please make sure you're smashing the like button. We're going to wrap up in about 5-10 minutes. Last thing, we do have a game on Sunday. Chelsea. Do we expect some of the plays like? Am I right that Walker, Foden, Stones will have reported back to training today?
Yeah, today. They're there now. Wednesday.
Weight stuff, all that. I wouldn't even be surprised if they did a behind the closed doors friendly thing this week.
What, surely or something?
You know, they've got the CFA that we don't know about. And we'll play.
Surely,
like you say, Charlie Town.
Yeah.
Someone down.
You're in goal, aren't you, Martin?
Pardon?
You're in goal for that game, aren't you?
No, I'm playing up front.
But
the knees are holding out then.
Yeah. I think, and we've seen it before with Walker, that Walker is one that, Walker, I've remembered many a time. He's come back to training after pre-season and been in the squad kind of 2 days later for a Community Shield game. So I think Walker's fitness, he's just got that elite mentality that we all dream of having, basically, where he's got a six-pack even if he's been drinking for 5 months. I'm sure whatever else he does, that's probably how he gets it.
KDB was going to be just resting in 3 months. We played Huddersfield in the FA Cup straight in you go.
Yeah.
I think that's it. He's a madman.
I think this is the thing that we can't overlook Chelsea, right? Look, last season alone, Chelsea nearly lost. I mean, if we look at it, most games we go, you know what, without Rodri, that was where we dropped points. We dropped 4 points against Chelsea with Rodri in both those teams, right? So we can't overlook them. They've got Neto coming in now. Defensively, I think they're looking a bit shaky. They look like Pep first season City, where they're trying to play out from the back, but just aren't quite ready for it. But do we see the likes of Bob? Do we see McAtee starting? Do we see Rodri walking straight back in?
No.
He's injured, isn't he?
Who?
Rodri.
I think it was a knock at the Euro final.
Euros. Yeah, no, I think he's all right with that.
Because he got subbed off, didn't he, for Zubimendi?
I think Tommy said he was still injured, didn't he? Or he was still...
I think he said he's coming back with a suspected injury.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he has a hamstring problem at the minute. I could be wrong, but
Hugh, don't be saying that.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does start against Chelsea anyway.
Please don't.
Rodri, you don't think he starts?
No, could be wrong. I don't think
that worry you?
I don't even think he started switch at home.
I think between now and Christmas, you're going to see Pep with his lab coat on anyway. You're going to see experiments. You're going to see players playing different formations, different setups. So, no, it doesn't scare me too much. And like I said, I was waxing lyrical about Kovacic 20 minutes ago. So first game of the season, Chelsea aren't that amazing right now either. So I think we'll be fine. I don't think we'd need him.
Sorry, Hugh. Just say Rodri is meant to be training Wednesday. So hopefully that means he's fine. That's what the message said, that he's meant to be back training on Wednesday. Sorry, Hugh.
Okay. If he's back Wednesday, then it's still a big ask to say after having not playing since Euros to play on Sunday. But
do you know what?
Maybe
I would say that with Rodri right now, a lot of it is going to be based on one, the fitness team and the traffic light system. Is he fit? And two, I think probably one of the first things that's going to happen when Rodri gets back to the club is him and Pep have a chat. And Pep asks him how he feels. And Pep, says, "Are you ready?" Because look, I'm not here saying fuck me. We draw or lose to Chelsea and it's curtains. I remember a couple of seasons ago where we started well, not even started the season. About 4 or 5 games into the season, we lost 5-2 at home to Leicester. Right? I'm not going to be panicking. But at the same time, I do think Arsenal are going to look good and we need to get the points on the board early. So, any others? I mean, McAtee, do we think McAtee's, apart from, all right, if we remove Rodri, are we thinking it's pretty much going to be a full-strength City team against Chelsea back? No, or do you think Bob's going to feature Savio?
I definitely don't think O'Reilly will play, whether Rodri does or not. He definitely, no offence to the lad, he's going to be a top player, but he cannot play at Chelsea. No chance. I think, no, I don't know. I thought De Bruyne would have got more minutes in the Community Shield. I thought he'd have got at least half an hour. And then now I'd be saying he's starting. But he only had 2 minutes, didn't he? Or 4 minutes or something. That makes
almost like he got brought on to take a penalty, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
But he looked damn good in them 3 minutes, though, didn't he?
But that's the thing. Look, if we look at last season, Kevin De Bruyne at his best was when he came on against Newcastle, probably, right? Or maybe the Luton game, right? The minute Kevin De Bruyne starts getting too many minutes in those legs, and it's perfectly fine. There's this thing online from rival fans that they're slandering. They're giving Kevin De Bruyne slander, that he doesn't deserve because they're forgetting at the age of 34, Gerrard and Lampard were fucking off to other countries, right? And Kevin De Bruyne's had a damn sight more injuries than either of those two. So when he gets tired, but this is a thing, you bring Rodri on with 10, 15 minutes to go in a stretched game, there's a good chance, right? He's either going to score or come close to scoring, or he's going to put an opportunity on the plate for somebody to score. So I think that's how we're going to see him this season. Simon, anyone you think's done enough in pre-season that maybe isn't a starter to guarantee his place in the game against Chelsea?
I think we'll see Bob and Doku on the wings, and I think we'll see McAtee or Foden as the 10, and then Kovacic, Bernardo in the double pivot. And I'm a bit curious about if Rico Lewis will play at right back for that game. I don't think with the pace they got. So I think we'll probably do something like Akanji, Diaz, Ake, Gvardiol. I think that will be the lineup for Sunday.
I think you might be right there, I think you might be spot on. Right, guys. So, first show. Sorry, I'm just going to put this up. Nitin, I am going to continue to give you airtime just because, Jet Lee, these uncles won't understand the rule of UCL. That's why Madrid make it their priority. Unfortunately, we don't have the squad for it. There's a few uncles on this panel that probably perfectly well know the aura of Madrid because they've been to the Bernabeu. I would imagine you've never been there, bro. So, I mean, you probably...
Nitin, how old are you? Because you act as if you're younger than me.
Anyway, Nitin, please continue to spam the comments because we really appreciate it. Helps the channel loads. So just quickly, like I said, this show is going to be every single week with Steve is currently away, living the dream in a fuck-off mansion in Spain, making us all feel jealous. He will be here next week, and everyone that is on this panel is welcome every week. We're going to be here every week. Now, look, next week, lads, if we don't beat Chelsea, there's probably going to be about 1,200 people watching this show next week because they will be here for our tears, and we're here for it. But just quickly, I want you all to give a quick shout out. How do I give it? Start with you, Huey. Everyone knows you, but where can everyone find you? Your channel?
Yeah, my channel. I'm getting close to 10K now. I'd like to hit 10K in the next couple of weeks. So HMTV1894, pop that on YouTube and it should come up. So yeah, I literally just dropped the video there 15 minutes ago. It's a cool, proper edited video about Jack Grealish. So I'm trying out some new type of content. Okay. So if you guys could go check that out, leave a like.
Get him up to 10K ASAP. After this, jump over to everyone's channels. We'll put the channels in the description as well. Love for jumping on, Huey. You got Big Six tonight?
No, I had it last night. Next one's
okay.
on Wednesday.
Right, okay. Martin, where can everyone find you?
Mancunian way, just for the rest of the older generation, you know, with all the 50-year-old dad mods. Mancunian way, we're doing a show tomorrow on names versus profiles, where we're going to put this, just throwing me big names because they're all great on FIFA and they've got a 92 rating, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, and we're trying to get to 5K as close as possible. So any help is appreciated.
Everyone get over there. Make sure you give us subscribe. Blue Tone, lovely to get on shows with you at last. Where can everyone find you?
Thank you, and you, mate. I'm MCFC Tone on not Twitter, it's X now, and I'm not on the other stuff. I normally pop on one of these lads' shows. Hugh, Martin, Luke, yourself now, and I know Si's got something coming up. So yeah, I'll be on one of them, no doubt, at some point, which is great. Thank you very much for having me on.
No, appreciate it. And Si, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, I've just started my own channel called Size
really?
Locker Room. Yeah, it's not live yet. It's an all charity channel, so all revenue coming for that will be donated to charities. 50% will always be donated to Manchester Food Bank, and
quality.
And the last 50% will be donated to the charity by the choice of the top donator. And I'm just trying to hit 1,000 subs so we get started on the super chats. So yeah, Size Locker Room, people.
Size Locker, SI, yeah, or SY?
Yes,
SY.
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 Locker Room, yeah.
Perfect. And then last but by no means least, I nearly said last but by no means Luke. Luke.
That sounds good as well. Yes, it's City Luke TV. If you don't mind, I've popped it in the chat. Only started a few months ago, and yeah, the growth's been mad. As you know me personally, Daps, it's very rare that you would have seen me come on camera.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, just starting along my little journey and hoping to hit 1K as soon as possible. I think we're on 560 summit now.
There we go.
So yeah, just trying my content out. If you enjoy it, drop a sub. If you don't, just let me know what to improve.
Love for that. Love for that. Right. So, people, you have 4 days until we get to watch Man United opening day of the season on Friday. And we are all praying for it's another game like that Brighton game of 2 summers ago. We need those tears. We need those rival tears. We will be back this time next week. As for Never a Foul, they will be back either. If anything happens, there will be a later show tonight around about 10 or 11 o'clock. If not, then Cass and the team will be back tomorrow around about midday. Until then, this is City in It, talking City in It. Peace.